Hey folks, Zorro again, Wyatt. Most of you know my real name by now. I'm going to be breaking from format with some of these segments. Not entirely. I'm going to address questions. We still have questions from Zach and Maznag and and Cole Anthony has one more question that we never addressed. So I will be addressing those and any new ones that come along some point down the future. But I also have a few subjects that I'd like to tackle. And since I have more ideas right now than we will probably cover, I'm just going to do a little rundown. A lot of you know my favorite subjects. But to really punctuate that, I'm going to give a little bit of a prologue. One of my big ones, and that the amusing part is I know that it doesn't seem like a big thing to most people, but I feel that we as a society do something very misguided, dysfunctional, and ultimately damaging by perpetuating the concept of bad language. And I don't think anyone is doing anyone any favors by teaching their kids this in an unqualified manner. I realize that there are times when you need to have them adhere to the manners society expects. But anyway, that's for later. I also want to address race. That's somewhat queued up by the language thing because we have the word nigger to deal with. That's a hot button issue right there. And I'll probably even find myself addressing it on levels that give me that feeling of, do I really want to put this out there? Again, with some of you, this isn't going to be new territory and I won't be saying anything drastically new, but this is film, and this is the internet. Funny, it feels real. Anyway, that's another thing I want to cover. The concept that the internet, which we're both on right now, and IRL, which I'm in right now, and so are you, motherfucker, are different things. That'll be the bullshit segment of it. Anyway. And I want to cover the idea of slut, concept that I think is meaningless. And, oh God, there's a bunch, aren't there? Go figure, I can't pull them up. Oh, the Beijing of society. That's another one, the narrowing of our realm of consciousness. I won't get into any details on that right now. I will be doing some poems, but I don't think I'll be doing them today because I need to get these things printed out because even though they are my own, they are not memorized. There are the questions as to why. We are in the very realm that I have done my 2-mile naked walks at night, and I know a lot of people probably just think that's inconceivable, hippy-dippy, or, publicity stunt type thing. But life is publicity. Anyway, there'll be other things, and there are other things I was probably going to say in this intro, but I can't think of them right now. So I think I will depart from this, and we'll move on to one of the specifics.
Cole Anthony wants to know, what would you say is the biggest setback for the average American person?
The biggest setback for the average American person? I don't know if this will stand the test of time, but right now, it's obviously job security and money issues. The average American. But I think on a broader level, I think there is an issue of fear of change. Uh, I obviously have to qualify this with the fact that the relatively well-known fact, and probably observable even to someone who doesn't know me, that I tend toward the liberal end of the political spectrum, or as I choose to define, the progressive end. We are so fearful or apathetic about anything that isn't of our immediate and familiar realm that we don't allow ourselves perspective. We don't want to consider embracing new concepts that have been put into place by other societies or other entities because they're un-American. We don't want to hear what any damn socialist country, which, relative to our system, most of the Western industrialized world has, been somewhat socialist for a long time. But trying to define it with just that word is misleading. I mean, every society has social programs. Every society has redistribution of wealth. Our fear of examining other possibilities based on the concept that we have the way is holding us back. Our fear of others in terms of race, in terms of just by defining the thems, we're doing ourselves a great disservice. We're afraid of Mexicans coming and taking our jobs. It doesn't matter how much they actually contribute. Nobody wants to whip out the numbers. Nobody wants to listen to a media source that actually puts the numbers out there. Nobody wants to listen to anything where both sides have their opportunity to say, well, here are our facts, and here are the opinions that go with them. Other side says, here are our facts, here are the opinions that go with them. If you rely on Fox or MSNBC as your primary source of information solely, you are choosing to be an idiot. There's no getting around it. None of those sources are valid news sources. None of those sources are even valid sources for a full spectrum of opinion. They are bullshit. MSNBC, way liberally biased. They don't even fucking pretend. Fox News, way conservatively biased. Man, that shit is what we are right now as a society. We might as well be looking at whose fucking cellulite is showing under the bikini line. It's that stupid, and that's what's holding us back. We are a People magazine, Fox watching, MSNBC watching, daytime fucking talk shows about who's fucking whom. That's what's holding us back. Willful ignorance.
Maznag would like to see you reflect on what would be the most important set of changes in the lifestyle of middle-class Americans 20 years into the future.
Now, allow me to be the optimist. We make it through this 2012 thing, which I don't buy the Mayan Aztec calendar prediction thing. But I do believe, whether it be this round of catastrophe or the next one or somewhere along the line, 20 years is a big number in that respect. And look at what's happened in the last 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we, or the Chinese, or some communities, will be forced to, for the first time in a long time, innovate new ways of progressing as a society. I think in some of the old videos I probably touched on green economies. I mean, I hate to sound like the Jetsons or something with vertical farming and pyramid cities and shit like that. But in small footprints, I think we are going to be utilizing emerging technologies to do things that are dramatically transformative. Things that people resist now because it seems too abstract and too far-fetched. I think that the economic downturn is a mixed blessing. I think it reminded us that the progress forward isn't smooth, linear, or uniform. So it disrupted some of the new technologies that are emerging. But I think it will put us in a position where the emergence of new technologies and behaviors as a society will not necessarily be on the exact same track. I like the fact that we've shaken up the marbles a bit. 20 years from now, your house will be green. Your food will not come from the exact same sources that it does now. And with any luck, the economic system will not be so short-term gain focused. And for the average American, for the average citizen of the world, that will be a great benefit. The biggest obstacle is for people to actually embrace the idea of looking down the road and seeing a 20-year benefit as a benefit. To be willing to sacrifice something, good times or bad, for the sake of our children. Fuck our children. I mean, not fuck our children, but just, we're going to be around in 20 years. Some life-saving technologies, who knows? We might be around in 50 years, maybe even more than that. There are long-term benefits, man. 5 years is done. 5 years from now is gone. The decisions that will affect 5 years from now have already been made. The decisions that are affecting right now, what you're experiencing right now in the world, those decisions were made more than 5 years ago. We're recovering. But yeah, I think it will be a new way of approaching technology and lifestyle that will change the average American's life, and it will change it for the better. But boy, we have some more bumps on our fucking heads before that comes.